When people think about homelessness, they often notice something else. Someone talking to themselves. Someone acting unpredictably. Someone clearly struggling with reality. It leads to an obvious question. Why is mental illness so common among the homeless? The answer isn't as simple as many people think. Because the relationship works in both directions. For some people, mental illness comes first. Imagine trying to keep a full-time job while battling severe schizophrenia, untreated bipolar disorder, or overwhelming depression. Keeping appointments becomes harder. Paying bills becomes harder. Maintaining relationships becomes harder. Eventually, housing can disappear too. But that's only half the story. Here's what many people never consider. Homelessness itself can damage a person's mental health. Imagine spending months or years never knowing where you'll sleep, constantly worrying about theft, violence, weather, food, sleep deprivation, living under that kind of stress, day after day, changes the human brain. Even people with no previous mental illness can develop severe anxiety, depression, or trauma after long periods of homelessness. Then comes another obstacle: treatment. Most mental illnesses don't simply disappear. They often require medication, regular appointments, and consistent follow-up. But how do you keep medication safe if everything you own fits inside a backpack? How do you remember appointments without a stable place to live? How do you recover when survival comes before everything else? It's an incredibly difficult cycle. Mental illness can contribute to homelessness. Homelessness can make mental illness worse. Each problem feeds the other. Of course, it's important to remember something else. Not every homeless person has a mental illness. Many lose housing because of job loss, medical debt, family breakdown, or rising housing costs. Likewise, most people living with mental illness are not homeless. The two overlap, but they are not the same thing. That's why there isn't one single explanation or one single solution. Every person has a different story, different struggles, different paths that brought them there. So the next time you see someone on the street who appears to be struggling mentally, remember, you can't tell by looking whether the illness led to homelessness or whether homelessness helped create the illness you now see. Sometimes the hardest part isn't figuring out which came first. It's realizing both can become trapped in the same cycle.